Dear brothers and sisters, welcome. Welcome to the annual meeting of the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania. Our program today is originating from the world headquarters at Warwick, but we are delighted to have live audiences at the various United States Bethel locations. All in attendance are fully vaccinated Bethel family members in accordance with government guidelines for this region of the United States. However, it also gives us great pleasure to welcome all of those who are tied in for this program virtually. Would you like to welcome all of them? Well, I've seen many annual meeting audiences, but I have to say you're the most beautiful audience I have seen for a variety of reasons. Before we begin, we have one short announcement. We'd like to remind you that no video streaming or recordings of any kind are permitted. Any notes taken, whether hard copy or electronic, should not be forwarded to anyone else.
Oops, it seems that guidance on keeping things secret, not sharing recordings, wasn't fully followed by some of the beautiful audience who were attending virtually via live stream. We're watching Mark Sanderson, who is acting as chair for the annual meeting. So he's actually going to be featured throughout parts 1 and 2 of this rebuttal because he has many comments to make, not just his introductory comments, but he has comments to make throughout when he's reacting to what various speakers are saying. I just find his style a bit self-indulgent. You can tell he's really loving, really relishing the role of chairing this prestigious annual meeting event. For example, you'll have seen where he said,
I have to say, you're the most beautiful audience I have seen for a variety of reasons.
What reasons? I mean, having said that, it kind of behooves you to specify exactly for what reasons this is the most beautiful annual meeting audience. If I had to guess, this is something personal. This is perhaps because he has family in the audience, or could it be, and this is really spitballing, could it be that Mark Sanderson, who famously is the single one on the governing body, is now dating or in a relationship and his partner is in the audience? And he is indulging that person by weaving them in some way in his introductory comments. That's what it feels like. It feels like, and I'm not saying that's the reason, but whatever reason it is, this, for me, feels like he's using his position and he's using the fact that he is chair of this event to make it somehow about him and to make it somehow about the way he feels about the audience.
Proverbs 15, verse 23, it says, a word spoken at the right time, how good it is. Truly, it is a fundamental principle that timing is everything. Well, think for a moment about prophesied events that took place right on time. Jesus was baptized at precisely the time when the Messiah was prophesied to appear. The kingdom began its heavenly rule right on time in 1914. And looking to the future, Jesus said that Jehovah has set the time, even the exact day and the hour, for the end of this wicked system of things. Does the governing body know when Armageddon is going to come? Yes, we do. It's going to come right on time. We have full confidence in that, don't we? That Jehovah is going to bring about those earth-shaking events exactly on time.
For me, Mark Sanderson is toying with his audience here. Again, you can tell he really relishes the role he's been given. Number one, he loves being a governing body member. He loves the power that comes with that. And in this particular instance, on this occasion, he loves the power of being the chairperson at this prestigious event. And yeah, he's using it to toy with his audience on the subject of Armageddon. When's Armageddon coming? Because this is the sort of event where new light is typically dispensed by the faithful slave. So Jehovah's Witnesses will be watching this, and people will be attending this meeting thinking, maybe I'm going to learn something new. Maybe I will get a front row seat when some announcement is made about Armageddon that will somehow sharpen our understanding of when it's going to happen. Mark Sanderson knows that these are the expectations, and with this in mind, he says,
does the governing body know when Armageddon is going to come? Yes, we do. It's going to come right on time.
I mean, for all the laughter, what he's doing here is actually quite cruel, because Armageddon is a serious thing for many, many people. It's not a subject to be joked about. I can imagine there being plenty of fatigue among the millions of Jehovah's Witnesses when it comes to this constant waiting for something that's just never going to happen. I mean, we're talking generation after generation of Jehovah's Witnesses waiting for Armageddon to come, and it's just not coming. So while I'm glad his audience there at World Headquarters could see the funny side, I'm sure many won't. I'm sure many will think, do you know that this is a con? Do you know that it's not coming? Because why is this a subject for mirth? We're talking about the destruction of the wicked. We're talking about unfathomable destruction and carnage. And we're talking about people orienting their lives around an expectation that this is going to happen soon and they need to do something about it. So I'm not sure his, again, toying with the audience was in such good taste. As to his remarks on God's timing,
Jesus was baptized at precisely the time when the Messiah was prophesied to appear. The kingdom began its heavenly rule right on time in 1914.
I'm glad we're reaching the point where I've made so many videos at this point that I don't need to answer each and every falsehood that gets uttered by governing body members or governing body helpers in Jehovah's Witness propaganda. We're reaching the point where they just repeat the same falsehoods again and again and again, so that I don't need to repeat myself. I can just point to the video where I've already dismantled the lie. And we've had two lies here. Lie number one, Jesus was baptized at precisely the time when the Messiah was prophesied to appear. I refer you to a video I made, well, actually a sushi on this subject. If Tibor is gracious, a thumbnail will appear, in which I explain why Daniel's 70 weeks prophecy doesn't apply to Jesus. So that's lie number one dealt with. This is great. Lie number two, the kingdom began its heavenly rule right on time in 1914. I refer you to a recent video I made, again, thumbnail here if Tibor is gracious, debunking Jehovah's Witness teachings surrounding 1914.
Let's look at Matthew chapter 24 and verse 45. Now here, Jesus posed this question: who really is the faithful and discreet slave whom his master appointed over his domestics to give them their food at the proper time? Happy is that slave if his master, on coming, finds him doing so. Truly, I say to you, he will appoint him over all his belongings. Well, what did Jesus say here? He said he would appoint a faithful and discreet slave who would provide the spiritual food. But there's another important detail there. Did you notice it? He added, at the proper time. Well, because of Jehovah's perfect sense of time, he knows exactly what his people need, and he knows exactly the right time to provide it.
It could be that this is your first annual meeting. I've seen a few of them by this point, and I'm noticing a recurring theme. This whole repeated emphasis on the faithful and discreet slave, on Matthew 24, verse 45. It's almost as though it's like this ritual at these annual meetings. Once they have all their friends there, once they have the top brass there surrounding them, the governing body like to just re-emphasize their power and re-emphasize their control by pointing to the Bible verse that they feel gives them a mandate, gives them some reason to control the lives of Jehovah's Witnesses in such far-reaching and intimate ways. Matthew 24, verse 45 is their go-to verse, even though it's nowhere near giving them an excuse to do what they do on the scale they're doing it. It's not even a prophecy, it's a parable. But because it says something that could be construed as giving them an excuse to do what they do, giving them an excuse to micromanage the lives of Jehovah's Witnesses, it's their favorite verse, and they will trot it out at every opportunity, especially events like the annual meeting, which is essentially all about celebrating them and their achievements.